Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Whoop whoop. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I've returned Juicy Scoop favorite, Lala Kent. Wow, this is the juiciest time in reality show history. I have you here fresh off the party of the year, Ocean's 2-year-old birthday party at Bounce and Ball in Encino.
Ball and Bounce.
Ball and Bounce.
I'm so grateful that you came because it's not like you have kids. You didn't need to come, but I was really thankful that you did.
Well,
you make a party. You get that, right?
I mean, you had two guys singing some really great tunes. We were rocking out. All the other Vanderpump babies were there.
Yep.
Cruz, Hartford, Summer, dressed as Boo.
Yep.
And then, of course, your daughter Ocean was just a very gracious host and had the best time and loved every minute.
She's a very happy child.
She really is.
She's like a magical human.
She's really cute and
She
very
is, right?
like, yeah, it was great. But then last night was the greatest night of my life because it was Vanderpump is on every Wednesday. We're recording this and here we go. We watched the episode and everything Eddie Cohen said, everything you told me, you kept saying, it's a coming. I can't tell you anything. It's a coming. And we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And Lala Cleo, what's that lady that the psychic Cleo? Lady
What's
Cleo?
her? Oh,
What
with the ball.
ball with the ball. Yeah. Miss Cleo.
Miss Cleo. Yes.
Yes. I thought I was a great predictor, but I think you have an incredible judge of character now, even more so, because
Yeah.
I think that from what you've been through, it's like your antennas are maybe up.
Mm-hmm.
I think you understand women really well. And in it, you are like you want to be Raquel's friend, but you're like, whoa.
Right. I was watching the way that she was moving, and I just felt like this seems to be a red flag. And you're going to see it gets crazier.
So what we see last night is you guys go to Vegas for the
Mhm.
opening of the Paris Vanderpump restaurant.
Right.
And you guys are all being real girly friendly. Everybody's getting along. And it's Katie, you, Raquel, and Christina.
Yes. Ariana ended up going home because
She
her
had to go
dog
home
passed
right
away.
away because the dog was sick. So she's gone within like an hour of getting into the hotel room.
Yeah,
so
pretty
you guys
much.
go down there, and that's where you meet Oliver Garcelle's son, who's working there, and like face wise and charming wise, he's kind of your type right now.
Totally. And everyone kept asking me, like, how did you know Oliver before? Like, you say you had a crush on him for a long time. But I couldn't on camera say I know him because I watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's how I know him.
Right,
It's the only way I know him.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. So that's actually how I know that Oliver exists, is I obviously watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I've seen him appear.
So you're like, he's cute and everything. Now you say you guys invite him to the next spot, Disco Pussy, or what's it called?
Disco Pussy.
And like, so he comes there, and now you find out from him, he says, I am separated.
Right, which is a trigger for me
Right.
because I've been told that someone separated before and it was a lie and I had a baby with that person and my whole life was a lie.
Right.
So that was a trigger for me, but I didn't feel that it was a red flag in the sense that we're filming a television show. So if you're not really separated, why would you say that you are when we have a crew here? Like, this is going to air nationwide.
Yeah, this is not what stays in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Right.
What happens in Vegas is on Bravo and going to be in 12,000 countries or whatever it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, yeah, we're just trying to find the grounding for the bouncing the kid back and forth.
He goes, I share one child with my ex. Right.
Correct. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in the same situation. I feel for you. I was enjoying the conversation. I didn't feel that I wanted to like do anything fun with him.
Right.
You know, there was a point in time, like he walked in, we start talking. I was like, this is not the person that I'm going to take
But
home.
also, I've had the pleasure of, listen, I've been married 22 years. I love having a single friend. I like to live vicariously. But you are notorious now because there's been a few incidents where you're like, oh, it's on. It's popping.
Yep.
It's popping. And then
talk.
And then something happens and you're like when we were in New York and you're like, oh, it's popping. You leave. I'm like, I cannot wait to get the scoop from Lala. She's going to this like hot basketball player's house that she's been seeing and da da da. And I'm like, give me it all, girl. Like I'm in my bed with a cup of coffee. I'm like ready to get details. And you're like, the Uber got about like half a mile from his house. And I'm like, no. Turned around and went home.
Yeah. But I did hook up with that guy the last time I was in New York.
Good for you.
So we made up for it.
I'd like to hear about that.
So yes.
Yeah.
So I'm big talk.
Yeah.
One thing can make it go from it's on and popping to no thanks, cookie closed, going to bed. And so Raquel starts telling me that she is interested in him.
Yeah.
Again, yes, the separated thing triggered me, but I didn't think it was a red flag. I knew I wasn't going to hook up with him. She was like, I think he's cute too, though.
Yeah.
So you do her so well.
I forgot that I did. So I did an impression of Raquel the first reunion.
In the polyester puff.
Yes. And then
light a match, she's melting, babe. Melting to the ground.
Where she was just like, I was like, is she we'll get into it. Is she the dumbest or the smartest girl in the world or a little of both? But anyway, and so I reposted that because everybody now is seeing old episodes and everyone's going back.
Mm-hmm.
And, it truly is like the sixth sense. Once you know the ending of the movie, you go back and you're like, oh my gosh, nobody is directly talking to Bruce Willis. Like this, so you're like, okay, now. So everyone's going back. Bravo's making it really easy for the fans to watch it. Everyone's like, thank God there's reruns of Vanderpump and not Below Deck because everyone complains that they replay Below Deck too often. So
they do play that a lot.
Yes, you can see it on Peacock and everything. So she goes for it.
Yes.
But you're like, who cares because you weren't into it. But now in retrospect, it's very weird that later on her competition comes out with you. And this gets brought up at the next spot, which is the dinner in Havasu. And she's like, yeah, he chose me, Lala. And you're like, we weren't in competition. And I'm like, okay, pageant girl. You are a pageant girl.
No, it was like taking a hit of acid. I was like, I don't know how to break this down for you. This is not about Oliver. This is about you calling me a mistress again.
So
when you don't know anything about my situation. Shut the fuck up.
So wait, let's just go back. So now you go back to the hotel. Of course, you're sober.
Yes.
Katie drinks, but nobody else is drunk. Like,
So
Christina
Keller was pregnant at that time,
yes.
So she didn't drink. I wasn't drinking. Katie handles her alcohol really well.
Fine. So everyone's just like normal. But, Raquel, after her makeout with Oliver on the dance floor, which is so cringy and gross, like I almost puked. And then
can I just explain to you what disco pussy was like? The way they make it look on camera was not how it was.
Okay.
Disco pussy was full of people I can't even explain the music. It was just a bunch of like loud noises that I can't even explain it. It was like drums, then like zinging. It was so like you couldn't even dance to it. So it was a bunch of like zombies who had obviously taken something. They're there by themselves. They're on the dance floor with like lights in front of their eyes by themselves. It was not some like pop in place. It was people that went there to like get stimulated and be whatever drug they were on.
Well, this episode was a weekend of non-popping places. Okay. So you go back to the hotel and you guys are just like being girls and she comes around and she's buzzed and she's like, I know that you aren't supposed to put aluminum foil in the microwave, but I think plastic is fine. And you're like, okay. Like, that's where I'm just like, you are 28. Like, let's all remind ourselves she's 28.
I know.
So she's there. And this is where you have the conversation about where she says, and you go, I got to be honest. Like, I don't know that I'm so comfortable with you after a few drinks hanging around with my man. And she's like, well, it's good that you don't have a man then for me to take.
I was flabbergasted. I could not believe. And the second it came out of her mouth, you could tell it was immediate regret on her face.
Well, the truth comes out when you drink.
You know,
The
I disagree with that.
Okay.
Maybe with some people. With me, I was out and I would constantly tell everyone they were super pretty and I wanted to hang out, would exchange phone numbers, never to see this person ever again. Like,
I think that's different.
okay.
I think being lovey-dovey when you're buzzed or making plans with people and then you never call them back, that's a different thing. I'm talking like your real character or what you might really think of somebody. Like if you've ever, gotten really drunk and or someone's gotten really drunk and said something like, well, and then they say something that like really cuts below the soul. And the next morning you wake up and you're like, I think that's how you really feel about me. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I think sometimes after drinks, but I also don't think she was that incredibly wasted either.
She claims the next morning she doesn't remember what she said.
I don't totally believe that, but whatever. Yeah.
And it's interesting because if we didn't know what we know now,
Yeah.
the audience would be torn because
Right.
you do see us laughing and
Yeah.
making fun of her.
Right. And she's like curled around the corner. It's like out of like a Brady Bunch episode where it's
Yeah.
like, do, oh, poor Raquel. And if we didn't know what we knew,
Right.
like if this hadn't broken,
the audience would be torn.
I think you'd be getting some
heat.
shit today. And a little bit like you're the mean girls that invited the dork to the slumber party and like.
But by the way,
Yeah.
we were having so much fun. When she got back, where I drew the line was
Right.
when she spilled a plate of food on my floor where I'm going to sleep in that bedroom. I'm
Yeah.
very weird about
Also
where I'm
smell
sleeping.
of food and
The smell of food. Then she got marinara sauce on the blanket that my mom just washed for me before the trip. It was like, enough already. I've had enough.
you're like sloppy, go to bed.
Sloppy, go to bed. Then she delivers the line. It was like, it's 3:00 in the morning. You're wasted. I'm feeling myself go to a place that I don't. Because this year, I really, just with everything I've been through, I really want to pick my battles. I don't love who I've been in the past. Yes, is it who I am? Yeah, obviously, it's in me. But there's certain things I want to work on, and I was trying. So when she delivered that line, I wanted to chop her fucking head off.
Right.
But I didn't. I drew the line, said, remove yourself. We'll deal with this when you've sobered up. And it just kept getting, she wouldn't let it rest. I don't know. Everyone said she's found her voice. I took it as this girl is not okay and she has lost her mind. Like this is where someone needs to step in and help this girl.
Right. So then you get in the car and you start driving to Havasu,
Mhm.
and she kind of has a breakdown in which she reveals that one of the last times that she and James were together was Thanksgiving, and he was very cruel to her family, which, by the way, not funny. But like, it was awful according to her, and we don't know if this is true because there's no witnesses, there were no cameras, but what he says is like an awful thing about her dad only being with her mom because, he does not love with her and her mom is old and fat. And I'm
Right.
like, and then they show a picture of the family, which is a very nice looking family. But I was like, I would, listen, out of all the regrets, and she should have a lot, if I was Raquel, that would be one of them that
Sharing
I've said on
that?
camera.
Yeah, I would have never
Because
shared
I'm
that.
like, that is just so embarrassing to your parents, to your family, to everything. Like, we didn't need to know that part. Like, she
I
could
don't-
have
I wouldn't have
just
said
been
that.
like, he cut below the belt and he said awful things about my family, and that's where I knew I couldn't go on. Like, are you not thinking I mean, I know the cameras are there, but you guys she said it in a confessional.
In a
so I
confessional.
feel like it's not on the fly. You have a minute to think your thoughts.
There's many times where we're in confessionals and a producer will say, like, can't you just tell us? And there are times where I sit there and I'm like, no, this is all I'm willing to share. She does have the option to, like, not share the nitty-gritty details about James body shaming her mom. Like, and I've met Raquel's parents and I had nothing but a pleasant experience with them. However, James did tell me that Raquel's mom has called me some pretty nasty things. So I'm not the biggest fan of this woman or this man anymore.
Right. Got it.
So
But still,
I'm
yeah.
like,
But I
wouldn't have done it, but
feel
if you
the
want to put your mom
intention-
on blast like that, go for it.
But the intention was to put James in an awful light.
No,
And
instead I was
in the
cringing going, you're
right.
supposed to be the one to like, shut the fuck up
Right,
about this.
exactly. Yeah. So she has a little breakdown. You guys get to Havasu and you go out to the dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and like the stuff is shocking what she says there. This is where you guys really kind of have it out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're at that point, what are you thinking? because at that point she brings up the fact, like, you're a hypocrite. You slept with James when I was with him, and you're like, yeah, 6 years ago, and I came clean about it. And she's like, yeah, but you were also the mistress, and you went from a mansion to an apartment.
Charlie said that. Yeah.
Oh, and Charlie came off awful.
It was
Charlie must
not-
be regretting this weekend and how she behaved.
Well, I think a lot of them are. I
Yeah.
think a lot of them are going to regret co-signing on this person. I was a little bummed out by either Evolution or Bravo because my sobriety and my journey, I don't know if they don't think it's interesting enough to cover. I don't know if they like me being on the fence of, is she a mistress or was she not a mistress? I'm pretty over it. The reason I told Raquel that I hooked up with James is because that was one of the moments that when I decided to get sober and I had a sponsor that was on my list of things that I have done in my life while drinking that I am not proud of.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't owe Raquel anything in the time I got sober. So I told my sponsor what happened and we put it to bed. Cut to where we are now, we started developing a friendship. I couldn't, with a clear conscience, be her friend when I had this like secret. It didn't feel good. So I just wanted to put it out there.
You couldn't have a girlfriend that you lied to for 7 months straight?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I needed to tell her. And yes, it was 6 years ago, but there's a lot of things
Right.
I did while I was drinking that I'm not proud of.
Which
Is
is
it
part of
an
the recovery.
excuse?
Yeah.
No, it's not an excuse. This is fact. I didn't wake up one day and go, I had one bad night, I'm getting sober. This was a plethora of bad decisions that I've made in my time of drinking that led me to not drinking anymore. And I hate that when I said I was drinking and she says I was drinking, that they cut out where I said, you're comparing your actions to me, an alcoholic. So if you're comparing your actions to mine, I suggest you look into your drinking. I said that, they chopped it out.
Right.
And then when she said you were with a married man, with the shit I've been through and the just amount of lying that came with who Randall Emmett is, it like that word is so fucking triggering.
Well, it's so insensitive because it's like your life was just, I mean, what's so crazy about this whole story is that I thought about it, and as someone who's a fan of the show, I'm like, the only time I felt this deceived for a friend is with you and your fiance
Yeah.
and Randall. Like, why I didn't believe it at first and
Yeah.
everything. Because I was like, no. And, because that just wasn't was presented to any of us. And you're like, what kind of double, triple, quadruple life did this person that I was engaged to, going to marry, have a family with, be a stepmother to his family, live in his home? Like, it's just devastating.
And I know that life is not cookie cutter and things happen. Like if I got involved with Randall and I knew that he was married and things just happen the way they happen, I would have no problem saying, this is how it happened and I'm sorry. I wish I could change it, but this is the story and now we're together and in love and had a baby. Like I was so blindsided when I had that conversation with Amber that like, yeah, oh, that time, yes, we were married. Oh, the time he said he was going away to do this, that, and the other.
Because you and Amber, and by the way, I thought it was so lovely that Amber and the girls, her daughters, Ocean's sisters, all were there
Yeah.
at the party and were so lovely as sisters and were so into playing with her and everything.
It was really
cute.
You know, that was the first time I saw those girls since I left a year and a half ago.
I know that must be really hard.
It-
That was really nice that you forming, a nice friendship and with Amber, because of course it wasn't good in the beginning
No.
because of all the deception that he told either one of you. So now you know that like when he was saying I was separated and all this stuff, he was not.
No, they were working on their marriage through January of 2017. I mean,
And when he told me like about how he saw you at the restaurant and how he pursued you and, had this part in the movie of the row and all that stuff. And he was like, it was just really important, that had to be secret on the show because even though I was going through a divorce, it just didn't look good. That I was going through a divorce.
That's what he kept telling me is I have kids and I want them to read things that, I was fully divorced from their mother. I don't want it to look a certain way, which by the way, I respected that. I was like, absolutely. If there's kids involved and they're not mine, I will respect your wishes. And keep in mind, it's not like Amber came out and was blasting like, hey, by the way, still married. Like no one was saying anything. And I for sure wasn't being kept a secret. I mean, he was bringing me to Miami to meet his mom and dad. And what married man would be like, hey, mom and dad, the wife's at home. I'd love you to meet my new girlfriend. Like,
so they
insane.
So they thought it was done with he and Amber, but he was still like, Amber, we can make this work. And she was like, yes, let's try because we have 2 kids together.
Honestly, I don't even know because I don't believe a word that he's ever said in his entire life. I truly believe he would fall over dead if he were to tell a truth. It's crazy. The smallest thing is a lie.
I know. It's so insane. Like even things that when you meet somebody that is making up lies that don't have to be a lie. Like you're like, why did you tell me you had a bagel when you had a salad for lunch? Like weird stuff.
Right?
Yeah. And there are people like that. It's just shocking. It's so strange.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I think with what your situation was, it was like, yeah. And the thing is, separated is, you can date someone when they're separated.
Absolutely.
Especially when you have money and you're married and there's kids and it's California.
And by the way,
divorce could take 9 years.
Just a regular old divorce where there's no assets, no nothing.
That takes
6
years.
months.
Yeah.
6 months. You have to wait for a judge to even allow you to sign off on a divorce.
So I do think when somebody's like, you were dating a married man and the person is no longer like living with them or they're telling them they're not with them, I think that's a reasonable thing to believe because what are you going to not? I mean, if all of a sudden I was like separated and stuff, you think I would wait until the final to not ever like kiss someone or go out? No, of course. Like, so, I don't think that's unheard of, but she throws that in your face.
Yeah. Which anyone
who is like ruthless and
anyone
weird.
Who doesn't know my situation, you would never, no one who knows my situation would ever call me that. And I didn't need to explain it to her.
Right.
Because you're a low vibration person.
Yeah, you said that. I wrote that down. I thought that was pretty good.
You don't get
too low vibration.
Yeah, they are. And I'm like, you don't need to break down shit for me. I lived this moment. I lived all of this. I'm still living it. So you don't need to break down anything for me. Disengage. I'm fucking out. I'm done.
So then you guys go back to Havasu, the house in Havasu. You all sleep. And she's like, you know what? Hi, guys. I am not comfortable here. And actually, we're going to go back to LA because there's going to be a guys' night with Schwartz. Looks at Katie, and Katie's like, all right, you can go, weirdo. Like, what at this point? It's like, and also just so, besides now we know everything, but like, so then they get to the Mondrian.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone who has pursued acting, and I heard that Tom Sandoval, constantly a casting director put something out that how many times he's submitting himself for acting roles.
Still, right now?
Still, according to this person, allegedly. And we've seen him in some Lifetime movies and things like that. And if you're ever thinking of hiring him as an actor, just watch how fake his reaction is when Raquel shows up at the Mondrian for Guys Night. There is not a doubt in my mind that they did not communicate prior to her walking in that she was going to be there that night. Because he's like, Raquel, hey, what are you doing here?
No, it's the worst.
Like, it is
I know.
the worst.
I know. It's so weird to watch back. And you're going to see that there's something about that night that you guys will see later on in the season. Scheana's vlog is really coming in handy, by the way, for Vanderpump Rules. They're like, we need that footage. We need that footage.
Well, I listened to a very, very telling podcast this morning.
Okay.
So there's this girl, Jamie. I think her podcast is Jamie All Over. And she is a very good friend. She was a bridesmaid in the Scheana wedding.
Yes, I know Jamie.
Okay.
She's a very sweet girl. She's a vegan. She has a good
Yeah, her podcast about like veganism and all this other stuff,
Yeah.
and a couple businesses seems like she's got her head on her shoulders. So they're really close. And within their group, there's this other guy named Kale, and he's from the music industry, but he's kind of like a life coach. Anyway, he's friends with everybody, and so he's her guest on this show, and there's some juice that comes out of that. And this
Okay.
was just out just 2 days ago. So she says after the boys' night.
Mm-hmm.
She meets, either she was there or she meets him across the street at the Saddle Ranch where you ride the bulls and stuff.
Yes.
And they close it down. And the group of 5 of them or whatever. And at one point she looks over and Sandoval and Raquel are talking extremely intensely at the bar. She doesn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Then they're outside and she looks over and the two of them are like on a curb talking again, Raquel and Sandoval. And she films this little video being like funny where it's almost like
Have you
giving
seen
voices.
the video?
No.
Okay, I've seen the video.
Okay, so she does little voices like making fun
of them.
Make you think. She shows it to them, they laugh, they think it's funny. So she's ready to post it, and then something just tells her like, I think this might be interpreted as a little too close for comfort for Ariana, so I'm not going to post it. So she doesn't.
Okay.
Of course, this is August 4th or whatever. The wedding is like a week and a half later. She then says they all go to the wedding, and the party before the wedding is this white party, which we're going to see on the show. And that's where we see Schwartz make out with Raquel on camera for the first time on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I look over and I see them making out. And then the next day I say to Schwartz, like, how was that makeout? And he goes, kind of weird. It was like kissing my sister. And at one point, Kale says, I was at that party too. And Raquel went to him and was like, so they want me to make out with Schwartz. And he's like, I don't know who they is. I don't know if Sandoval producers, her demons in her head. I don't know.
Pushing for that very, very heavily.
And now we know, I think I know from listening to this podcast and stuff, that if not full boning, stuff was happening after that Saddle Ranch night. Okay, that's my opinion.
I'm not going to confirm or deny anything. I think what you learn later on about that night is going to shock you. The fact that
which
this
will put
girl,
us at the 7-month mark.
The
August.
fact that this girl, Raquel, has the audacity to sit down, call me a mistress, wake up the next morning, leave, and then have what happened that night is mind-blowing.
It's
mind-blowing.
Well, it's, again, with your situation where you're fighting for your life and your family in this situation with your ex, it's the deception, the double life, the compartmentalize. I don't know what these type of people do in their head to justify their behavior. Or they don't really. I think there are people. I had Dr. Drew on Tuesday.
Do. Oh, what did he say?
He said there's some people where it's an addiction, where it becomes an addiction, which I'm going to read this thing real quick. But he goes, but other people don't feel bad.
Okay.
And he goes, there are people that don't feel bad, and those are bad people, and they do exist.
So Dr. Drew is obviously a doctor.
Yeah.
I can only speak from experience. I agree with him, but the prime example is Randall. I met up with his best friend. This was a while ago. He said, I've talked to Randall. I told him, why do you keep getting into relationships? Because, he's in another one. And he said, why don't you just go out and live your life and be with whoever you want? And it's about the sneaking around. It's that adrenaline rush, that high, that the sneaking around, it just gives them this rush that they can't get anywhere else. So I feel like Sandoval is the exact same way. I think he was getting off on the creeping around. I think Raquel fueled his ego, which a narcissist loves to be.
She was a groupie
ego.
too.
She was a full groupie.
Yeah.
Thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? She was obsessed. He needs that. And then when they get caught, it's the textbook. We weren't in a good place. We weren't having sex anymore.
Sandoval and Ariana.
Correct. So it's I've seen this movie. I've read this book a million times. I know it front to back. What else do you have? Because you're not getting out of this. You are the piece of shit. There is no avenue you can take that's going to make me think, I get it. I don't get it. I think you're a piece of shit.
Well, so I agree. So then also that's uncovered is, since the Kale guy is like good friends with Raquel and they're always talking to each other, he looks back now and he realizes that she's one of those people that really only called him when she needed anything and she'd act like she cared, but she really didn't. And a couple things that came out that he said is at one point she was sick in April of 2022. And he says, I did take her to the hospital. And in April of 2022, she was not vaccinated because the vaccination thing came up in Des Moines. Is she in fact vaccinated? Did she say anything about that? So Jamie was like, I don't know about that. And then he was like, well, I know this. So whether she got after that or not, who cares? But I'm just saying that's one of these rumors we've heard.
Okay. This allegation, allegedly,
yeah,
she did tell a cast member who she was extremely close to that her Vax card was not real. Allegedly, this happened.
Right.
So I saw that. I've heard about this. And
I mean, listen, a lot of people feel about this subject like, who cares? But it's just another thing that wasn't true. That's how I see it. It's just another thing that you're comfortable about not being truthful about.
Well, and also, you have to be vaccinated to be on this show.
Right.
Like, it is a requirement. So whether your stance is pro or against vaccines, it's another element of like, you are a liar.
Right. Right.
I'm not going to say what my stance is on the vaccine, but I will say mine was real.
Yeah, and I think that people's minds and all that's what I'm saying, but it was just, that was sort of an interesting thing that was brought up, so I just wanted to address it.
Is real.
And then he said when he heard from her when it all happened that Thursday night, when it was all revealed, and at that time, she cared more about, do you think Scheana will ever talk to me again? So it's interesting that she's like sad about her friend being mad at her on Thursday. And then by Saturday, she goes to the urgent care 3 days later in LA. And on Sunday or then on Monday, files paperwork for a temporary restraining order.
Right.
So she was more, and he's like, look, I think you are done with these friends, and you've got to move on. But like now it's the PR and trying to save and rewrite the thing. And he goes, you'll be a stronger person one day because of this. She goes, oh no, I'm stronger right now, or I'll be stronger because of this. And he's like, wow, like before the remorse, before the like cry, like losing your friends, you're thinking, well, something, about yourself, something good or I will be a better person for it or more famous. I don't know what her thought. He thinks she's very smart though, this guy.
Do you think she's very smart?
He thinks she's very manipulative and a lot smarter than people think. That's his opinion now. That wasn't his opinion like now in retrospect.
Well, I think that we get these two things confused when someone moves like a snake and they manipulate. We're like, oh, she's smarter. No, this is called the devil working, right?
Yeah.
This is not a smart person. A smart person would have parlayed that she was a fan favorite. She's finally a main character on a giant show
that she was a fan of.
A smart person would have made all the right moves to set herself up for greatness well beyond this show, which she did have the potential to do.
Yeah.
Instead, she fucks her best friend's dude, and I don't think there's any coming back. Like, none of these people will speak to her again. Maybe Tom Sandoval and Schwartz,
Right.
Sandoval, because obviously they were hooking up, and Schwartz because he's weak.
At that point, Kale says, that she says, we are in love, we want to be together. But then within a few days, when he talks about, they figure out that there is no way to know if someone is recording a FaceTime session or not. And then she was disappointed that happened with him, with Sandoval saving the FaceTime. But we don't know if she was like, save it. We don't know. Look at it every night. I don't know. But, and then at that point, according to this Kale guy, she says, I know now he isn't the one for me. But, that was a week, like, who knows? Every day it's probably changing, but this is his account. And all I know is that...
I do know they're still in communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the hearing that's going to happen for Scheana, I predict, this is my prediction,
Okay,
everybody.
tell me your prediction.
She will withdraw it or not show up on the 27th.
On the 29th.
On the 29th.
I agree.
Because if she does, she's going to be buried.
She will be buried.
Scheana will have Kale. She'll have Jamie. She can have as many of you as she wants.
Right.
As character witness and witnesses to what Raquel has shared or told you in a timeline. And, you know, it is not easy to get a 3-year or 5-year restraining order. It is not easy. It takes a lot of work.
I think Raquel,
yeah.
just being in the court system, I think Raquel thinks you just like file this. She's going to show up on the 29th and be granted something.
Yeah.
This, they're going to show up. It's going to be punted to a later date. It'll then get punted to a later date. Things like this cost a lot of money.
I don't know that. Okay, I've been in the restraining order game. I've experienced
It's
it.
not a big deal. If it's not thrown out, it's just going to keep getting punted to a later date.
If it could be that she just doesn't show up.
Okay.
And then it's thrown away. If Scheana didn't show up, then it would probably be granted, which we know Scheana's going to show up.
Scheana's going to show up.
But
she's excited. Her lawyer is excited.
But if they all show up, it won't get pushed off. If they show up, they will start it. Like, it is set for that time. They will start it. They don't want, this is not like a trial thing. Not, so I'm saying,
this is the first. I don't think
Scheana will prevail.
I don't think they're going to call witnesses to the stand on the 29th.
Well, you can bring. That's when you bring the people to fight it or to get it. So, like, if you felt like you needed it, you would bring like, if you were in a situation where, God forbid, someone witnessed the person you're trying to get a restraining order do something or say something, you bring all those people because, you know. So we'll see. I know Scheana's going to prevail, but my prediction is that Raquel, with all this is coming out, she's going to realize she doesn't have a strong case, and she's going to be like, I don't, you know, she'll just drop it.
I saw this coming. I knew her dad was going to get in her ear. She needs to. Desperate people freak me the fuck out. When someone starts getting desperate, I'm like, okay, this is when they start doing things that, you know, once you put something out there, even though it may or may not be true, you cannot take it back. So she's grasping for anything that's going to save her. And I knew she would do this.
And we don't know with the reunion what the situation is going to be with them, like in the room or Zoom or whatever.
All I know is they cannot be in the same room.
Right.
And they also can't even speak to each other. So whether someone Zooms in or not, like they can't
won't
even
be split screen or anything. Yeah,
no,
they won't be communicating.
One of them cannot be in the room when the other person is there. Zoom or not. They can't even speak to each other.
Right. Got it. So anyway, the episode was super juicy.
Did you like it?
I did like it. You go to Havasu, and the group of guys next to you was not great, but you know what? It was fun to watch.
Guys,
they seemed nice, but I'm just saying, no one was like down to like get together in the lake.
Oh, those guys on the lake. I thought you meant the night.
Yeah, then you go to the night. You're like, this is not LA, but that can be kind of fun. And then you did meet a guy that seemed pretty cute, and you did date that guy for a minute.
Can I tell you? I'm in contact with him again.
Bucket hat.
It's so strange to me that the two dudes, the one that Katie was seeing and the first dude that I was with since we split from our exes.
So the guy at Disco Pussy was Katie's dude with the mustache?
She never hooked up with him. Oh. There's a guy that she met. You'll see him on the show.
Okay.
That was her first hookup since, or no, maybe it wasn't her first hookup. She had a lot of fun. I was a little wounded still. I was like, I don't know that I'm ready for all that. But these two guys that appear on the show with us, the one that I met in Havasu, like they were the two that were just like the best.
Yeah.
Things that were supposed to be a one-nighter, like talk to you never again. I was like, oh my gosh, they're so sweet. The Dawn took a piece of my heart.
The bucket hat.
Bucket hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he still swarming around? Is he still flying around a little?
We communicate.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a Juicy Scooper wrote this to me and just came in this morning. I was the Raquel. She's being honest about her own self.
Right.
I cheated with a man married to one of my best friends. We snuck around for months. He came on to me one night and I didn't stop him. It was like a drug. I couldn't get enough. I was in the lowest place of my life. I loved the attention. I eventually ended it. It's been 15 years, but I think of it often. I've been in therapy over it. It's my life's biggest regret. The irony, a couple years ago, I discovered my husband was cheating on me with a 25-year-old. Karma? Perhaps. Can't help but feel sorry for Raquel because I know how easy it is to be swept up in something like this. Feel free to roast me in the comments. You won't be saying anything I don't say to myself. I just thought it was interesting and she put this in anonymous, and I'm keeping her anonymous. And I just thought it was interesting to hear someone's perspective because, we all are, the biggest thing is like, who does this? And I know that just people do it because I could see in all the discussions in my groups and stuff, the people that were like, God, you stop making it about Raquel. And I'm like, well, what did you do? Like, and that's okay. But obviously, and I've even said, I know there's people who are listening to the show that have been the Raquel. We know it.
Mm-hmm.
And why they did it, how they recover, what did they tell themselves? Did they, whatever. Did they not care? Did they off on it? Was it like, did they have better orgasms because it was a cheating thing? Probably. Like, I don't know because I've never been in that situation, thank God. But I thought it was just.
I think because when a dude, obviously, like, I can't stand Tom Sandoval, and the fact that he recorded her without her knowledge, if that's really what happened, I think is absolutely disgusting. But I feel like when a man does a woman dirty, the only thing they have after that is their girlfriends, right? It's what you lean into. And to find out that it's the girl that you're best friends with, who you would normally go to in this situation to like give you strength, I just think the whole thing is dirty. And I understand we're never going to be able to relate to something that we've never been in that situation before. So I understand where this girl is coming from. I don't know that her husband cheating on her was her karma. Could it be? Maybe. I don't know. Who am I to be the judge?
Right.
But
just
at this point in time, maybe with time passing, I can feel for Raquel. I said from the jump, Katie said, Christina said, this girl needs help and guidance. And every single person up here was saying she's found her voice. Let her go out there and make mistakes and do this, that, and the other, where I was seeing it from a 30,000-foot view, just because of my own situation. This is going to end badly.
Right.
It ain't so cute when you're the girl whose man she's fucking, right? Not so cute when she delivers a line like that.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you don't have a man
and
when it's your man.
And you never liked her. You didn't like her in the beginning.
She's always triggered me.
You tried to give her the benefit of the doubt and be friends. One thing that the Kale guy said in this podcast is he said her concern was always, what does Lala think? And, what does Lala think? And he was like, well, whoa, you just proved Lala right all along.
Lala wants to light your ass on fire, just like she's always wanted to do, just like she's done for the past 5 years.
Now, in the show this season, we see that Sandoval was very insensitive to your situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he says something like, well, yeah, and then you go have a baby with somebody,
with a guy like that.
With a guy like, and so now
you're a guy like that.
So
Sandoval, you are a Randall.
Right. And when when he said this, do we know what month he said that in the shooting? Where was he already getting?
Here's where I'm at with it. You don't just suddenly fall on someone's dick. There was a level of comfortability. The line was crossed a long time ago.
Right.
Whether it was text messages,
whatever someone says,
touching,
whatever someone says, cheating, it was an accident. I literally have said an accident is when you forget to stop filling the pool and it overflows. That's an accident. The accident is like, oh, I slipped and fell and a dick was inside of me. And I was like, if I didn't wear these heels, I wouldn't have slipped and fallen on someone's dick. Yeah.
Right?
Continue. Go on.
So the line was crossed well before they first hooked up.
Right. Obviously. On the shoulders at Coachella.
The whole thing has been not right. All right?
Right.
I've been picking up the scent of Raquel's pH balance being a little fucking off. Okay? Let's just say that. So for him to say something like that, she should have known better than to get knocked up by a dude like that.
It was so...
You're that dude. Which also triggered me because, Heather, I think about that all the time. Like, what did I bring this little innocent being into? How could I not have been smarter? How is my daughter having to pay for my stupidity and me keeping my blinders on and not wanting to see red flags? Like, I beat myself up over that daily. I didn't need someone like Sandoval to say something like that.
Well, it's also just such an insensitive thing because whenever there is now a child on this earth,
Mm-hmm.
it's meant to be for all those reasons.
Right.
And I actually saw something a long time ago, which I thought was so amazing. And it actually was a Tony Robbins thing. Okay. And this daughter and her mom were both there. And they're like, we're here because, her father, my ex, just did us wrong and it was awful and everything. And he was like, yeah, but you wouldn't be who you are if he was a nice, fabulous person.
Totally.
So it's like, everything is what makes you who you are. And,
And she's already just like, she's so well adapted. You could throw that kid into any situation and she's going to be so happy and make it work. And I don't even think that she realizes the power that she has, obviously, because she's only 2. But without Ocean, I would have just moved on with my life, right? But because I have her, I have to put up a big fight to not only protect her, but she opened up the door for many victims to come to me and share their story about Randall. And because of Ocean, I won't give up this fight. Not just for Ocean, but I can't stop. I can't unhear what I've heard. So she's giving me this strength to end something that has been so wrong for so long. Someone who has continued this behavior for 25 years. Like, she's the driving force behind it. And she doesn't even realize that,
that in the end, the world's going to be a better place because she's here for so many people, not just her mom and not just your family. And it's so incredible that your mom lives with you and your brother's always there and your makeshift family of your best friends and everything. It's, but besides that, what will come of it will be all better for everyone.
Yeah. At the end of this, she gives me strength in so many different ways that I won't ever be able to describe to her.
You posted something on your stories, like a reshare,
Mm-hmm.
that I thought was really interesting a day or two ago. And it was from from a community. And it was basically like a statement of a mother or a parent doesn't go through lawyers, thousands of dollars, courts, their reputation being tarnished, people not believing them, making their career suffer, if their child's other parent was a safe place for that child to spend their time.
Right.
So when a parent does feel the need, no choice but to go for the sole, physical custody and when they do go for that and they don't settle at a 50-50, there is a reason.
Right.
I think anybody would like to end something amicably with their ex and have every other weekend off to themselves as a single woman if we're doing it like that.
Right.
The person that goes through all of that, it's not because it's I want to get you. There's no way you would spend all this money, all this energy, all these tears, all this stuff if there wasn't such a compelling reason that you feel that this is the only interest of your child, not the best interest, the only interest of your child.
There can be no other version. Ocean's future and well-being depends on me in this fight. I am spending crazy amounts of money on lawyers. I've spent more than some people will see in a lifetime. And I don't know how I'm doing it. I don't say no to really anything that's going to bring in money because I can't give up the fight. I know that if it doesn't end with her in my care, it's going to be a travesty to her future.
Well, speaking of lawyers, you've got your sweatshirt. Send it to Darrell. A video that's gone viral. You did get a letter sent to your email
Yeah.
by Raquel's lawyers saying, don't share the video, which you didn't have anyway.
I literally responded to her lawyer, don't ever send me a direct email ever again. I have counsel. I don't have the video, nor do I want it, and I haven't seen it. My eyes would light on fire. And I sent that to him. And then I screenshotted my response and the letter and sent it to Darrell.
And people have found Darrell. He's a successful lawyer who seems like a good person as well.
He
is
greatest.
a real lawyer.
Yes.
And I hope he gets a sweatshirt out of this as well.
Well, I asked him,
Yes.
I said, I posted a video and I ended up taking it down because I was like, I want to give you a peaceful work day.
Yeah.
But like, it's already out there and I kind of want to make merch now. Are you fine with that? And he said, go for it as long as I get a sweatshirt. And he said, I know about this because I've been getting phone calls and emails about it all day. I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize. I just went on a rant and like posted it.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Send It to Darrell was that funny.
Did you see the thing I sent you with Lucy from
Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
Send
no.
it to Darrell. I have a little baby to take care of. I don't need to see this in the morning.
I don't want to see that ever. Send it to Darrell. It's so funny.
Yeah. Well, speaking of videos, this was the other thing said in Jamie's All Around the World. What is that? Jamie All Over. When James is asked to leave by security at the Canyon Club because he was getting too loud talking to his girlfriend or whatever. This girl, Jamie, said she witnessed Raquel try to film it with her phone. And then a fan was filming it as well. And Brock, this is all alleged on this podcast, Brock then goes, hey, you can't do that. Give it to me, send it to me, and then delete it, please. And let me make sure you deleted it. So I guess he did or something.
Okay.
And then the girl, the fan comes around, is kind of like hanging around. And the Jamie girl is like, can you like not be eavesdropping? Whatever. And so she then says that Raquel then allegedly said to her, I'm going to give you these videos because I have it. She got it from the girl, the fan, and I have my own. And I want you to I told production you have it, and I need you to then sign a release saying that they can use it. And she was like, I am absolutely not doing that. That's not true. And like, to make it
look like it didn't come from her.
Yeah, she wanted it out there, but she didn't want it to ever come back where you guys then could be like, what the fuck, Raquel? Like, because she said to her, she goes, Raquel, has he ever, been physical or anything with you? And she said, no. So then she was like, I'm not going to, feed this narrative and have people think this about James when it's not true. And he was just, a little annoyed or whatever, hot-headed at the thing. So anyway, but that was another thing. That was another untruth, allegedly.
Right.
That
and
was coming.
But those are that's the type of person that scares me. Like Katie, me, James, everyone talks about our mouths and how like insane we are and crazy. But at the end of the day, like, what you're getting. Mm-hmm. There's no surprises when it comes to the three of us. But we're kind of outcasts because we weren't getting along with Raquel. We didn't dig her. We were on the fringe of the friend group.
During this time, yeah.
During a lot of times. We weren't allowed to have real emotion because your mouth, you're entitled, you're this, that, and the other. When really you got to be afraid of the people who are moving in that way, where they're sending videos. It's like, if you want to light him on fire, just tell us you want to light him on fire.
Yeah.
Well, I'll help you do it.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm all about a man doing you dirty. Let's blast this motherfucker. All right. But she moves like a snake, and you're going to see. I called this even before cameras picked back up again.
Yeah.
And all of this happened. I'm so glad Andy Cohen co-signed on the fact that these episodes have not been re-edited to fit the storyline. You just would have been more torn on how you felt about her.
Right. Right. If you didn't know what had transpired. Well, so juicy. Okay. So get some other juicy stuff happened. You watch Real Housewives of Potomac, right?
Of course.
Juan Dixon has been let go from his coaching job, Robin Dixon's husband.
Okay.
To remind people, they were married, they got divorced, they dated, and then they got remarried. But prior to that, it all got found out that he was seeing this other woman. But
she claims it was just like an emotional thing and nothing physical ever happened. By the way, if this girl who was like dating a Baltimore Ravens player she's coming into town and this NFL player is not paying for her hotel, I'm not buying it. All right. I've hooked up with many a football player in my day. All right. And even the one-nighters are getting a free room. All right.
The story that Robin told that was what she believes happened was Juan was bored one day and he was DMing this girl and they became friends. And she said, I'm coming from Canada to screw this Baltimore player. And then she lost her wallet at a casino and went to a hotel and didn't have anyone in her world that could help pay for her room except for the guy that she DM'd once. And that was Juan Dixon. And then Juan Dixon came over in person to pay for the room and then said, I hope I did my Christian service for the year and I hope you have a good nap. And then he left and then Robin married him and now he got fired. But you know, the scoop about what happened at this place, at the place that he was working at.
There was another coach where there was something happening.
A catfish situation.
And Juan knew about it, but didn't handle it properly.
Let me just read it to remind people.
I like it.
So there was a lawsuit filed against the school alleging that an assistant coach on Dixon's staff sexually assaulted and blackmailed a former player by tricking him into sending nude photos of himself. So this other male assistant was into this player and did a catfish as a woman and was like, send me photos of you so you're nude. And then once he did, allegedly, then the assistant was like, oh my God, I'm being catfished by this girl too. And we're both going to like lose our place because now we've like sent nude photos to this person. And the only way she will not blackmail us is if you and I have sex and we film it or BJ or something. So then the guy did. So it was like a quadruple catfish.
Oh, I
anyway,
get nervous.
Allegedly, Juan Dixon may have had some knowledge of it. I don't know if that has to do with any of him getting let go or if it's because of the Potomac season or what. But a lot of people wanted to see Robin Dixon go because they were pissed that she didn't share all this. No, Robin's coming back. Robin and her unemployed Juan Dixon husband are 100%. Listen, make lemonade out of lemons, chick. He may have lost his job, but you just secured another year. So
Isn't that so sad?
Yeah.
It's like, wait, you have utter heartbreak, betrayal, shit has hit the fan.
Right.
We want you back. How much you want?
No.
But like, you're getting married and having a baby. We're so happy for you. Not interested.
Yeah.
Not interested at all.
You're sober and have a wonderful charity and your kids are doing great and you and your husband are completely nice and normal.
We're not seeing much of a storyline here for you.
Why are you so fucking boring? God.
No, but really. It's such a mind fuck. I'm telling you what.
This is gone viral. This is pretty juicy. Gwyneth Paltrow. Are you a fan of the goop.com and all that she does?
I know nothing about it except for that it exists and it's hers.
Me too. Anyway, she does an interview and it went viral yesterday. And it's her talking to some doctor about her wellness journey and what she does in a day. She says, I eat a small dinner, then I do a 16 to 18 hour intermittent fast. And then I have my first cup of coffee at 12 because I don't want to spike my sugar. And I mostly have Bone Bop.
Bone broth?
Bone broth for lunch. And then I only eat paleo for dinner. In between, I either, do Pilates or Tracy Anderson, and then I do the dry brushing, and I go
What
to
is dry brushing?
I think you take a brush and you just but you aren't wet, and you exfoliate your body, and then she goes in the infrared sauna, and she's working on her, and she's detoxing. So all these people are matching and on TikTok, and I thought someone brought it up great. They're like, after 10 years of having Goop and your detox stuff and all your detox products that she's pitching in this interview, you haven't gotten it out yet? Like, how much toxins are left in your body? If you, maybe I don't want to buy your Goop shit. If 10 years later, you still have toxins left in your body.
Right?
It's like, so, and then.
I don't think I've done a detox ever. Maybe I should.
No.
Yes.
I remember there was this thing where people would put this thing on their feet.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, and then you pull it off and it's black in the morning.
Yes.
And then I saw something like, no, it's bullshit. It's not anything.
I just feel like a solid bowel movement in the morning is detox enough.
Me too.
As long as I can get rid of the Tostito cheese and
just
chips that I made the night before.
It's
disgusting at 12 a.m. during a Seinfeld episode.
It's all good.
It's fine. You know what? I want to enjoy my life. And this does not look like an enjoyable life. I don't want to dry brush myself.
They call her the almond mom. Do you know about the almond mom?
No, what is that?
That's this other thing where people say, I had an almond mom, meaning my mom was like one of those people that was like, just have a handful of almonds. Just like a mom that really kind of screwed up their daughter about eating habits.
Oh,
because they were thin. They were thin.
Yeah.
And your mom is gorgeous, by the way.
No, thank you.
Yeah, but I'm glad she's not an almond mom.
Yeah,
I'm glad she likes to have a meal.
We stay eating at our house. Not the healthiest stuff at times, but it's okay. We enjoy ourselves.
Speaking of healthy stuff, she says things like, I would rather, in the past in interviews, she said, I'd rather smoke crack than eat cheese from a can, like a whiz of canned cheese.
And then she's never had Cheese Whiz or cheese out of a can because it is absolutely fantastic and mind-blowing.
And she said the same thing about I'd rather do something, whatever, if I then feed my kids soup from a can. And I just think it is such an entitlement that you came from famous parents, you're super wealthy, you know how to make soup, and that's great. And you can open your fridge and you have stuff to make a soup with.
Right.
But there's people that don't have that time, that money, and they do eat cheese from a can and they do eat food from a soup.
And it's delicious.
It's
fantastic. And the fact that you're promoting someone smoking crack over eating cheese out of a can is absolutely terrifying to me.
I think Gwyneth Paltrow is a big dick. And I don't care I don't think we have a future together as friends or business opportunities. So I'm ready to go hardcore. There's this girl Meredith Lynch, who I love. She just said, I think she's bringing this up to deflect from a lawsuit that's coming to fruition right now.
Oh.
So Gwyneth Paltrow was in Deer Valley in 2016, and she completely ran into this guy.
Hit him with a car?
No, with her body. She's skiing.
Oh, no.
She's skiing with her, skiing companion who is an employee of Deer Valley, whatever, a coach, whatever you call it, instructor.
Yeah.
Knocks him down. There's witnesses and everything. He has a concussion. He has 3 broken ribs.
Oh, shit. She really took him out.
And then she just takes off. She takes off with her instructor.
Hit and run.
He's like, and the guy goes, do you just see what you did to Gwyneth Paltrow? And he's like, what? She came up behind me. And also he said he heard her screaming. So he's suing for like $300,000. It's coming up this week. So Meredith I think she did this kind of shocking interview possibly on purpose to deflect from the fact that she's got this lawsuit. Now, I know skiing rules. I am not a good skier, but you get in a lot of trouble if you come down, the person in front of you has the right of way. They can't see you as you're coming. And so when you're coming down and you hit someone, you are to stay there. You are to, possibly. And if someone sees that you were being reckless, they can take your thing. You're bad. You can't ski anymore. But in this case, she just went. And so
she's Gwyneth Paltrow.
She's saying now that her instructor told her to leave and it's Deer Valley's fault and everything and the deposition. So I don't know where it's going to happen with this case. But as someone from Utah, Are you a good skier?
Hell no. My parents used to try and make me go skiing and I'd lock myself in the bathroom.
Well, you were scared or?
Yeah, I hate skiing. I
Oh,
just
you
don't
do?
see that, like, strapping something to your feet and then flying down a hill just seems a little bit dangerous to me.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
no.
Well, let's talk about the Real
Not
Housewives
a
of Salt
skier.
Lake City. Did you hear that Mary Cosby is back?
Yeah, do we like this? Because
They're in Palm Springs filming right now. There's witnesses, according to the Queens of Bravo Plus.
Palm Springs.
Next up, Redding, California. No offense to Redding. I'm just saying not a vacation spot.
Like, I mean, Palm Springs is
Woodland
great.
Hills, California. You guys are going to have the greatest time at the Woodland Hills Marriott and Warner Center.
No, stop.
We are going to go to the Village for a kava salad. I don't know why. But they're filming and Mary Cosby is back. So it's crazy that they get rid of one person, hoping that another one will be indicted because her legal
Is that
thing
what
with
it
her
is?
with her cult stuff, I don't know if she'd be indicted. I'm not
I
saying
don't know
she
why
will.
she would throw herself on
Mary
TV
Cosby,
again.
don't cut after me. I'm just saying there was a lot about her church and former members coming forward that was
No,
not
I remember.
favorable. So I don't know if more will come out about that. I don't know if she's completely
course.
ended the. I went to the church.
Yeah. Didn't you say
Last
there were
time
like
I was
5
there.
people there?
No, it was like closed up, and it was
wow.
closed up. So if she has, in fact, I think the smart thing for Mary Cosby to have done is ended her time as a church leader, close the church, and just be a full-time
But Heather,
housewife.
that's not how it works. Just because you've now closed the doors, it doesn't make it like, can't come after me. I know
Right.
a lot of people,
Yes.
including a little somebody who's like, I no longer am with that company. It's like, well, you were and you did dirty shit and
Right.
now you have to pay for it. We're happy for you that you've stopped doing whatever it
Yes.
is that you were doing and you've closed the doors, but you still gotta be held accountable for the shitty things you did.
Exactly. So there's also some talk of, do you think the Kardashians
Where are they? They have not popped up in my Explore page in a minute. They used to fill the Explore page. They are nowhere to be found now.
I definitely feel they're not getting the buzz. And so there's this thing, a lot of people are saying, are they becoming less relevant? I do think people don't care as much. I think like once Kim got with Pete Davidson, that was a lot of press. Once they broke up, we're kind of like, who cares? I don't know if she's going to get somebody else. I mean, she's a busy woman of 4. She probably doesn't want to get with anyone else
But who could she get with that would be like mind blowing?
that we would care to talk about. I don't know.
And then like Chloe with the Tristan thing.
She's
like,
supposedly back with him. It was his
I
birthday,
can't.
and Chris did like 7 stories about what a great father he is and how great he is. So and he went to the Malika's birthday party, the twins.
Yeah.
He was there. So people think they're back together. Meanwhile, Courtney has gotten no attention since she married Travis
see,
Barker.
the
Nobody
hype
cares.
is over with that.
So she dyed her hair blonde. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
And Kendall is dating Bad Bunny. Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Kylie might not be with Travis Scott anymore.
Who cares?
Nobody cares.
You know how they could be relevant again?
How?
Kris Jenner needs to get pregnant. that I would care about. Right?
I mean, I don't even think Kris Jenner cares enough to like marry Corey to get some stuff happening.
But I don't think anyone would even care about that.
No, nobody would care. That would be boring.
I can't think of one thing I would care about.
You know, they're set for life. They have great products.
Yes, go live.
Good
go live
American
the
is great.
dream.
Skims is great. Like
I haven't tried Kylie Cosmetics.
They're all moms, so it's like maybe they don't have to be talked about every day. Maybe they could just go on and just be businesswomen and moms.
That seems like the dream to me.
Why not?
Like to have an empire and not be in the press, but like bawling out.
Yeah,
That is the dream.
but maybe it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do they procure this press, or does these things happen in their life and then the press comes? And right now, just like a reality star that's about to get fired from a housewife show, they don't have any storylines.
I know.
They just don't have any storylines. And if she gets back with Tristan, nobody cares.
No,
No
and
one's
there's
going to be
nothing that
cheering
would
them
be.
on, but also nobody cares enough to be like, hey, you're crazy, Chloe.
No, we already went through that.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Right? We already went through that. And even if he were to go and get someone else pregnant again, it's like, we've seen this movie before.
It's a Tuesday. Who
Right.
cares?
No one cares.
No one cares. Okay. See, here they is on the birthday.
Oh, is that his new baby?
Yes, that's the new baby called. We don't know this. We still don't know Chloe's new baby's name. They like to wait a year.
Oh, that's his baby. So does
That's
he not
another
have
thing. Like,
any
we don't even
communication with
care.
the love child?
Like, I don't care what Chloe. Oh, the love child. I don't know, but she gets paid. Yeah, this is his other son. He has 4. So you're right. The love child one from in between is not in this photo.
Okay.
They didn't feature that, and we still don't know this latest baby's name. So
do we care anymore?
no, we don't care anymore.
It's
you
taking
waited
too
too long. Selena did a makeup free selfie that got 1 trillion likes. Everyone loves her.
How could you not?
Now, this was weird. What happened? So she
She's
posted
so
this.
Stinking cute.
She's so cute. So Selena does a little photo of herself, and she writes, "Today is International Women's Day, and I want each of us to be gentler to ourselves. Write your younger self, and stick it on your mirror and remind yourself that you deserve." Okay, then, like 2 days later, Hailey Bieber also posts a childhood photo of herself. No offense, not as cute. And and is like hugging this little girl extra tight. Now, they were getting a lot of press. Hailey was not having a good week. And then Raquel gave her a week off, okay?
Raquel gave a lot of people some time off. Didn't she? And even CNN was like, who are these people? The New York Times, hold up. We need to report on this. It was the craziest shit. Yeah, so she got it. Thank you, Raquel, for giving A-list celebrities a week off.
Yes. And so anyway, she it is weird. She does a lot. She's very obsessed, but the copying is continuing. So I'm like, once everyone has done a million TikToks on how much you copied, you just copied again after the scandal. So I'm like, again.
You think now she's feeding into it?
Yes. Now I think she's feeding into it because she needs us to talk about her.
I can appreciate that.
All right. Did you watch Jersey last night?
Last night's?
Yeah.
Didn't watch last night's.
Not much happened. They did the baseball tournament that they've done 3 years in a row, which literally is 45 minutes of us watching them play baseball.
What is that?
It's Dolores' charity, which is great.
Again, but what did we talk about? We were like, good things we don't want to see. How dysfunctional is this world?
Well, I'm just like, I don't need to see all the baseball playing, but I mean, it's just the constant Melissa versus Teresa. Will they ever? But one thing that happened was Teresa said, Antonio, which is Melissa and Joe's daughter, had a sweet 16. And when Melania had hers or something, wait, hold on. When Melania had her sweet 16, Antonia couldn't come because she's like, because she has a cheer competition. Well, I heard from a couple cheer competition moms, and they're like, yeah, you can't blow it off for a sweet 16. I don't care whose it is, because the routine is based on all the people and this pyramid.
Of course. Have you seen cheer?
Yeah.
There's a whole movie. Bring it on. Have you seen that shit? Yeah. I mean, they do not mess around.
So all this tit for tat, who came, who didn't, what's a good excuse?
It's
what's
exhausting.
Not a good excuse?
And if that's what family is, I don't want it. Y'all can have it.
So
y'all can have it.
On that one,
family's supposed to be like, I totally get it.
I go back and forth between Teresa and Melissa on that one. Ding, ding, ding. Melissa wins for her daughter sticking to her squad at the cheer competition. Nicollette Sheridan posted this on Twitter. Knocking at my door. Now, Nicollette Sheridan was the blonde from Desperate Housewives, the scripted show.
Correct.
Knocking at my door. How desperate are you all to have me? At Bravo TV, at Andy. # Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh, what a savage move.
Now, Nicollette Sheridan was an actress who was on Desperate Housewives, which is what the whole reality was kind of parroting, was the show. She did sue Mark Cherry, the creator of it, and it kind of made her she was sort of blackballed for that. She felt that
what was the reason?
She felt that they killed her off, and it was like, I'm going to screw up the story, but she did a whole lawsuit. I don't think she prevailed in the end.
Okay.
But she felt she was done dirty. And then in saying that, she brought up other things that were not flattering to Mark Cherry and her time on set. But really, in the end, she really did not work for a really long time.
I don't remember seeing her anywhere after.
She was
Desperate
married
Housewives.
to Harry fucking Hamlin, before he married
Lisa Rinna.
Yeah.
Is this?
Oh,
I
you know who
read
she was
this-
also married to? Can you look this up? I think she was also married to or dating. She was dating Aaron, who then married
They were
Denise
married.
Richards.
I think they were married.
She was married to.
Aaron, we got to get her on.
Oh my God.
Come on.
We have to bring back Denise.
Nicollette Sheridan, we are desperate. But to me, this seems like knocking at my door. How desperate are y'all to have me? Meaning, like, show me the bag of money. Like, how desperate are you?
Or are
Are
they
you willing
knocking
to
at
pay?
all? Or is she just throwing it out? We don't know. Because they're filming right now. So, but they can always bring someone. Jill Zarin said on my show that she ran into Kathy Hilton at the Vanity Fair Oscar party.
Of course she did.
And she said,
Jill is fabulous.
and I said, Jill, I go, so the only housewives that were at the Vanity Fair party, because a bunch of them were Elton John, were you and Kathy Hilton. And she goes, Kathy's is not a housewife right now. She's not. She said she's not filming. She's not doing it right now. She's not filming right now. I thought that was kind of juicy because I thought she was. Now that Lisa Rinna's gone, I thought that was the seal of the deal.
I think I would have been more shocked if she was filming. I think it's because I've seen photos of the girls together.
They went to Vegas. She wasn't there.
She wasn't there. There's been like
Crystal's birthday.
Yeah, there's been a few group shots where like Kathy Hilton's not in it.
Interesting. Okay. Anyway, these Oscar gift bags. I thought this was kind of interesting because people always want to know about these Oscars. Jill also on my thing must have talked about how there was no gift bag at the Elton John party. She mentioned gift bag like 25 times. It was hilarious.
I've
she was
been
like,
to
no
that
gift bag,
event
no gift
a
bag.
few times, and I don't remember them ever having gift bags. So if anyone else has gone to it and there was a point in time where they did do that, I definitely, in my time going, no gift bag. But to be honest, I mean, please send me gift bags still. But I don't really love a gift bag.
Gift
It's
bags
just
have
more
gone.
stuff.
Gift
Just
bags
more
have
stuff
gone.
I got to figure out where to put.
Gifting suites and gift bags have gone way down.
Yeah.
Way down in the last 10 years.
It's usually a T-shirt with
Well,
something
this is
on
what
it.
the
Don't need
Oscar
it.
gift bag is worth, if you were to use everything in it,
Okay.
$126,000. And the IRS does view gift bags as taxable income. So if you use any of this stuff, you're going to have to put it as your income. There is a $40,000 stay in Canada for like a vacation, a resort.
Okay.
A $9,000 stay in Italy that you could use. $10,000 worth of Botox. There's some chocolate-covered pretzels and a hand soup. There's always a few like random things. But the only people that get the swag bags were the host, Jimmy Kimmel, the best director nominees, the best actor nominees, the best actress nominees, and best supporting nominees and best supporting. So only the
all
main
people that
nominees.
can fully afford to do all of these things will
Right.
probably never use any of it.
No one's going to go on the vacation thing. And it's not like you can give that to someone else. They want the person to go to the Canada place or the Italy place. And I doubt anyone's like those people don't. Well, you know what? I take that back because what's kind of amazing about the people that won the nominees this year, there were a handful of them that, especially from Everything Everywhere, like the best supporting actor that won. He really hadn't been working in like 20 years. So he might want to cash in on these free trips.
Yeah,
he's
you're
going
right.
to be the only one.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel ain't going. And he certainly ain't going to get $10,000 worth of Botox.
And then you go and then it's like, hi, we're so happy to have you at this resort. This is Sheila. She's just going to be following around the whole time taking photos.
Yeah, we just need some SpawnCon.
Have you heard about the Tiger Woods thing?
No.
This is pretty juicy. So Tiger Woods has this girlfriend, okay, that he's had for quite a while.
Okay.
And but they weren't married, and she was living in his house. And so one day, living in his like $30 million mansion in Florida.
Okay.
And he wanted to break up with her. We didn't know what to do. And so he said, yeah, we'll like go on a trip or whatever. So he was gone, and his people came and said, pack your bags, girl. You're going to meet Tiger on a great trip. And then so she packs the bags, and she got in the car, and then the handlers dropped her off and said, by the way, he's broken up with you.
Oh, savage.
And you're out. And she's like, oh, no, I'm not. Okay. She has signed an NDA with him with him in 2017, but she's trying to get out of it.
Okay. Can I please?
Yes,
To
please.
anyone listening, if you're in a relationship with anyone who's high level and they ask you to sign an NDA, I advise you to rip it up and tell them to go fuck themselves. Do not sign that piece of paper.
You were asked to sign an NDA at one time, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And did you sign it?
No.
Good for you.
My voice is all I have.
I got a little baby to take care
I
of.
got a little baby to take care of. I don't want to see that in the morning.
So, because now she's trying to say, I want to get this NDA. She's not happy because this is what was so weird. She said that they made a deal that she could live there even after they broke up for like 5 years. So she's suing for what the rent would be to live in a $30 million mansion for 5 years. I mean, she's never going to win. I'm sorry. But I think there's something.
No, she should have gotten something signed.
Right. Or when you are someone that you're with someone like that and you're not getting married and you don't have a baby with them. So you really don't have something you really do need to be like, you know what I'd like for my birthday? An apartment building in my name.
Yeah.
So if this doesn't work out,
Right.
I've got something for the amount of time that I put into our relationship versus a career.
Absolutely.
If I'm your companion but you don't want to marry me, you don't want to have kids with me, fine. But like, let me have something that, and then but I just think there's something so interesting about tricking someone like out of your house, whether it's like a weird roommate or a guest that stayed too long and you're just like, no, like,
we're going on a fabulous trip. He's going to meet you there.
And then like, I'll follow you down. I just forgot to feed the dog. Lock the door. Wait. There's something so scary about someone who's like, I've always been obsessed with like people that are like squatters and they like stay at your house and then they're just not going to leave. Like there was a whole documentary about it. Like people that move in and then they're just like, well, I'm not leaving. And then they make your life so much hell that you like have to leave.
Hello. Everyone wants to talk about this like house that I used to live in and how fabulous it was. It was not. It was low down. I was very grateful. But it definitely, like, if I had the choice, I would never want to live there. It was like kind of a shithole. And next door, there was a house that was for sale. They were hoarders.
Oh.
They ended up being put in a home. They cleaned it out. Squatters were there months on end. Called the police. They could not get rid of them. They're like, there's nothing we can do. Literally. And I was ready to pop. I had like a brand new baby. These people were doing shady shit in the garage. They'd have U-Hauls come up
nightmare
at
in
like
Bel Air.
Yes, at 3 a.m. with like motorcycles that they'd put into the garage and then lock the garage. Yeah. And we called the police. They're like, there's literally nothing we can do unless the owner comes and says they're not allowed to be here. I'm like, the owners are in an old folks home. They don't even know where they are. Like, I'm ready to have a baby, and I don't know what sketchy stuff is going on next door. So, like, I wasn't
need to wake up to this in the morning.
I want to see this in the morning. I want to see this ever.
I got a little baby to take care of. I'm just going to keep saying that over anything. Anyway, it was crazy. Miami, we're going to end on Miami. Of course, this was all about seeing Lisa's finding out that her husband, the plastic surgeon, was living a double life with his mistress.
Kind of right in front of her eyes, too. The hot tub story.
Yeah.
Talking a little too close.
She brings that up in the reunion. Yeah. Yes. That she was like, what's going on over here? That was a little Tom and Raquel. That was, I mean, it. And then, but he's trying to get her kicked out of the house. And she's like, nope.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not leaving. No.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. He should have tricked her on a fun trip. He should have said, I'm going to take you on a fun trip and then get her out of the house. No, of course, he couldn't do that because they have 2 kids. But like, yeah, this show is really good. The Miami show.
It's very good. And anyone who's not watching it is missing out. There's so many people.
There's a
like,
reunion on tonight, Thursday that we can watch. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's there. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. How many fun things to look forward to.
Girl, you tell everybody you've got Lala Baby. Give them Lala Baby clothing line.
Yes.
Give them Lala makeup.
Yes.
Did you sell out of the Bambi-eyed bitch palette?
Yes, thank God. I thought I was going to, obviously I would never burn them. I would have donated them, but I just liked I liked the wording better of saying, thank God that we sold out. I thought I was going to have to burn the rest rather than like, I thought we were going to have to donate the rest to charity because that didn't seem as savage. Kind-hearted, but not as savage.
Right,
I
yeah.
would have donated the rest, but thank God we sold out.
Okay, what else? You got the sweatshirt. Send it to Darrell.
Yep.
You brought us a couple sweatshirts, which I'm excited to take a photo in.
Send it to Darrell. You can get merch on shoplalakent.com, beauty and skin at givethemlala.com. If you have little ones, givethemlalababy.com.
You have your show, your podcast.
Yep. Give Them Lala, wherever you get your podcast. New episode every Wednesday.
And of course, this is all real. This was not done. The producers didn't do this, according to Teddy Mellencamp. Lisa Vanderpump did not pay Raquel, in your opinion, to have an affair with Tom Sandoval. I was like, when I first saw that headline about Teddy, I'm like, she's basically accusing Lisa Vanderpump of sex trafficking, basically. But
wait,
then
Teddy thinks that she set this whole thing up?
She said it, but then when I listened, which is why you need to listen.
You
people.
have to.
When
It's
you see a
clickbait.
headline from a podcast, give it a listen. And Teddy, it was a throwaway line. She's
Right.
like, who knows? Lisa Vanderpump, probably, like she was not being serious.
No, I know. They love
And
to glom
podcasts
onto
are
those things.
conversations. They're not reading, the news. So just but I thought that was interesting. But no, everyone that thinks that this is done, I mean, I know from it's not. It's all happened.
You
It's
can't
all
make this
real.
up.
Yeah.
It's so dark. It keeps me up at night. It's very triggering. I just think everyone is so evil until they prove to me that they're not.
Yeah. And so you guys continue to watch. We've got a bunch more episodes left. You've got to
Yeah.
still film the reunion.
Next
So
week.
watch it in real life. Watch it on the show from 7 months back. It's juicy.
Oh, it's a juicy scoop.
Love you, girl.
Love you, babe.
Well, everybody, I know you loved when I had Dr. Drew on Tuesday, and we talked for so much more, and you're going to get it if you're part of Patreon. Go to heathermcdonald.net, click on Patreon. I'll have an episode there Friday, and then if you're part of my other level, which is called Get Me Behind Gates, I have a really special one in which Dr. Drew and I talk about very personal stuff with my family, and it's super juicy. And go to heathermcdonald.net, click on Patreon. Thanks.